I wake up around 4. My mom, she gets me up sometimes, or sometimes I'll set an alarm and it'll be set for 4 and I'll get up. My mom cooks me and my brother breakfast. Sometimes we eat at the table, or sometimes we don't even go to the table. We just eat really quickly because we know we have to get ready to go to school. The night before, we shower so we don't have to shower in the morning so we can hurry up and get to school. I put my clothes out so I know what I'm wearing before I get ready for school, so I don't have to take the extra time to get my clothes.
My kids, they're doing good. They're still in school. They come all the way from the Bronx to Far Rockaway to go to school every day, and we get up mighty early. But we're hanging in there as a family, thank God.
Ain't recognize you, bro. You don't stop growing, bro.
I lived here in Far Rockaway on 1911 New Haven Avenue since I was about 4, so around 10 years, 11. Our landlord sold the building, and my parents were going back and forth to court, trying to get us more time to find a place to live. And we didn't really find anything, so we ended up going into the shelter in the Bronx. It used to take me 10 minutes to get to school and 10 minutes to come home, but since we don't live here no more, it takes me 2 hours to go home or back to the Bronx. I missed the first 2 days of school because of the moving process.
During the last school year, more than 114,000 students in New York City schools were identified as homeless. When we look at the outcomes for students in temporary housing, and particularly for the 38,000 students living in shelter, we see abysmal educational outcomes. More than half of students living in shelter miss the equivalent of a month of school each year.
I think it's our train.
We see a disproportionate number of families placed in shelters in the Bronx. And the most recent city data shows that only about half of students placed in shelters are placed in the same borough as the school they attend.
At first, I got lost. I didn't know whether to go up or down to get back on the other side of the track. So I had to call my parents in order for me to figure it out. I go to the store to make sure that I get maybe a soda and some chips. So throughout the day, I don't have to be hungry until lunchtime. I listen to music, or sometimes I might fall asleep, but I always get up before my stop. Whenever I go to sleep, I know what stop to go to sleep and how long I'm going to be asleep until I get up. The reason why I didn't want to switch from this school was because my cousin Aaron, he was already going here, so I wanted to go to school with him. And I've been on honor roll ever since I've been here. So I don't want to go to a school in the Bronx and they're doing something different than what I was doing here, and I'm all mixed up, and then I'm not getting the same grades that I get here. I just think that here in QRT will be a good fit for me to get in a good college.
We're a small school with 479 students in Far Rockaway, New York, serving an underserved population in Far Rockaway. Our school is 86% Title I, which means people under the poverty line. A number of our students are homeless or in foster care or in temporary housing. So the challenges for some of those kids is that they don't know where they will be placed. Also, the challenges are a lot of kids end up being depressed or lack motivation in school because they're thinking about things right now like getting housing or having a hard time with housing. And so when your basic needs aren't met, Your higher faculty are things that you could think about like grades and homework and tests are in the back burner. But we also have some students that excel even more because they have the drive or something kicks in with grit and persistence that a tougher situation actually motivates them even more. We write grants all the time and we look for anything that can help our students. And our social workers, we have 2 social workers in the building, but they're swamped. They have 4 schools, and within every school's budget, there's $100 to be able to help students that are in temporary housing.
When the mayor announced his original budget proposal, it included no funding, and these social workers work to provide counseling to students who are homeless, many of whom have experienced the trauma of housing loss, and also to help get students to school on a regular basis.
I started to notice that he was slacking a bit on his work. I noticed that he wasn't getting to school on time or as often, so that was really affecting him in the classroom. But I also realized this year that with the commute, he's really one of the first students here. And that's probably why he's always the first one done. Yep.
I'm done with you.
Keep going. Can you make sure that you're making notes? Because I think he's really determined. I think he's really focused on getting his education. He's focused on his success a lot, and I think he knows where he wants to go.
Sometimes I stay up like pretty late to do my homework because I don't really have the time to do it, traveling back and forth, and then like I have to go on like 3 hours of sleep.
I know many times we've had kids who their families have had to be uprooted and moved, and you see a lot of things affected behavior-wise, attendance-wise, just overall mood, they shut down. But that has not been Wesley's case. So he is not the typical child that I've seen whose family has had to move, relocate, and still come to school every day and on time.
We're gonna see it.
So the only time he's absent is if he has a doctor's appointment.
He has diabetes, so
My doctor's appointments are mostly at like 11 o'clock in the morning, and if I go to school, I'm not gonna be able to make my appointment. There's no type 3. You're gonna be old.
you said there's no type 3?
No, there's only type 1 and type 2.
There's type 3, man.
There is no type 3 diabetes.
Look, type 3 is like type 1 plus type 2.
What? Shut up.
I don't know.
I was diagnosed with diabetes when I was 9. So ever since I was 9, I've been going back and forth to the endocrinologist, the nutritionist, and all that. And I also go to the dentist. I had a dentist appointment almost every Monday, and on almost every Wednesday, I have to go to my diabetic doctor.
But climate,
long term, right?
so now that we know climate is long term.
When I first had Wesley in
go back to
ninth
Mr.
grade,
Friedman's question.
I immediately started calling him Dr. Rivers. And I did that because I saw, for some reason in this culture, when kids are asked to answer questions or to participate out loud, they're very, very reluctant to do so. I guess for fear of being, admonished or being made a fool of. But Wesley, he was one of the first students that said, no, I know the answer and I want to share it.
Wesley, how does latitude, how does your location in relation to the equator affect your climate?
So, based on the latitude, it can affect your climate because, like, the position you are on the equator. Because if you're above the equator, towards the north, I want to like go into like rap, poetry, like and stuff like that. I try to like use my poetry that I used in class and stuff like that to make songs.
Now more than ever, these high school diplomas save lives. And a chance at college is going to change the trajectory of where these families are going to be socioeconomically. Black and Latino boys are not supposed to do well. They're supposed to be incarcerated. Based 1 out of 4. That's not happening here. So now we have a Wesley, who, if you look at every statistic, he's black, he's lower income, he's homeless, he should be dropped out by now. He's not. He's gonna do well. He's gonna go to college. He's gonna be fantastic. He's gonna hit hard times, but he's going to do better. I just know.
Oh, Wesley, when he was a kid, he made me a song. And that's my baby. That's my baby. And that's my baby.